Morning. So I'm going to focus this week on some really, really good pointers and tips on helping your teen and their executive functioning skills. Probably one of the biggest struggles that teenagers have right now, especially with COVID, is staying organized, staying on task, being aware of time and how things pan out, as far as like how long do I need to study, how long should I be working on this, and even with free time, playing computer games or watching TV or videos, how to manage that time, how to know, hey, you know what, like I need to stop this right now and I need to get to work. So I have so many tips and strategies to share with you, and I'm going to dedicate this entire week to sharing those. But the first one I want to tell you about, this is really, really key. If your child studies, whatever room in the house they study in, buy an analog clock. Think about when you were in school, right? And there was that big clock sitting at the front of the classroom, and you knew the class ended at 10:40, and you'd be looking at that clock and you'd see that hand moving, 10:20, 10:25, 10:35. You would know how much time you have left. We don't have that same sense of time with a digital watch. When you just look at your watch, it just gives you a time. I know in your head you can sit there and say, oh, I only have 10 minutes left. But there's just something about the way the brain works that when you look at a clock and you see that hand moving, it really helps solidify time because you can see time move. You can't see time move with a digital watch, but you can see time move with an analog clock. And when your teen can see time move, it makes it much easier for them to stay on task, and to be aware, hey, time's almost up. I need to start on the next task. And I'm going to talk about, setting up study schedules, good note-taking, tips and practices, and good study habits. But the first thing I would recommend to every parent, whatever room your teen studies in, their bedroom, the kitchen, get an analog clock. I guarantee you, if you get them to look at an analog clock and use that to keep track of time, they're going to be much more on task. They're going to stick to their time much better. And I'm telling you, it's a huge, huge tip that a lot of people don't take advantage of. And I'm telling you right now, it's probably the best thing you can do for your teen. So go out there, buy a bunch of analog clocks, put them in your house. They don't have to be the big ugly one at school. It could be a really cool looking one. But wherever your teenager does work, make sure they have a regular clock to look at, because if they have an analog clock, they'll be able to tell time, they'll be able to see time move, they'll be able to stay on task, and they'll be able to move from task to task much better because they'll have a better sense of what's going on and how time looks for them. And I'm going to give you a ton of tips this week on how to organize your time and your study habits and taking notes, like I said. But this is the tip for the day. Buy an analog clock. Have an awesome day.